You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I'm your host, Steph. It is Friday, February 7th, and we've got some news on the 49ers side of things, as we so often do. So I had to do a pre-weekend show to give you guys the updates. And some of you may have already seen this, but it's the fact that the 49ers have added longtime defensive coordinator Gus Bradley to their staff. That news came from Tom Pelissero sometime this morning today, but very exciting news from the 49ers side of things. Here, I got slides, people. I got slides. You know what it is. All right, so yeah, Gus Bradley, most recently with the Colts. Of course, he was fired this past offseason out of that position. He's going to be joining the 49ers. Still a little unclear as to what his title with the 49ers will be. I've seen defensive assistant, so I'm going to go with that for now. But of course, Tom Pelissero in his report didn't seem to mention. He just said, Gus Bradley is joining the 49ers staff. And so this is obviously a big deal in any case, just to have someone with the amount of experience that he has. As you can see here, he has a ton of experience in the NFL. He started out as a linebackers coach back in 2006 with the Tampa Bay Bucks, and most notably, his time with the Seahawks when he was defensive coordinator for the Legion of Boom era in 2009 to 2012. And that's where his connection to Robert Saleh comes into play. They had 2 to 3 seasons together, if I'm not mistaken, out there in Seattle, in which Robert Saleh was on that staff. And then Bradley, when he went to the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2013 to 2016, he was the head coach for the Jags then. He brought in Saleh as the linebackers coach. So these two have been connected in a couple of different places. This is now their third stint together where their time will overlap. And so obviously, being from that same Seattle defense, the same scheme, this will just make the defense stronger. Gus Bradley in his own right would have been a legitimate DC candidate for the 49ers. In fact, I remember him being listed, by everyone as a potential option for the 49ers, right? But the 49ers had their eyes set on Robert Saleh. Well, guess what? They get Robert Saleh and they get Gus Bradley too. I can't overstate just how big of a difference this is from last season when we got Nick Sorensen paired with Brandon Staley. I know at the time, I think we all wanted to feel really good about that, but I think we all had some reservations. Now we get Robert Saleh and Gus Bradley. That is just a great pairing for this team. And I'm just super excited about what it can mean for the 49ers. But yeah, going back to the experience of Bradley, he's had many stints, most of them as defensive coordinator. Here's one thing that stands out, right? He's been a head coach once with the Jags, 3 seasons with the Jags before he got let go. He has not been a head coach since then, okay? Walk with me here. We talk about the fact that, Robert Saleh probably going to be getting head coaching interest, probably going to be DC for the 49ers for, 1 season, maybe 2 if we're lucky, before he leaves for another head coaching position. I just kind of get the sense, there's still going to be some interest for Saleh in upcoming, head coaching cycles, right? So this now, with the addition of Gus Bradley on the 49ers staff, this now creates a succession plan for the 49ers. And that to me is huge. It's everything, because really the only knock that I had on bringing Saleh back was you're only going to have him for 1 season. And like I said, maybe 2. I hate that. Like, I love Saleh. I love that he'll be back, but like, I want a long-term option. Well, you get both. You get both with Saleh and Bradley. You get Saleh for however many years, 1, 2, whatever it may be. And I also saw Tim K, sidebar here. Tim K mentioned that Jetty York will want to do everything possible to try to keep Saleh beyond just this one season. We'll see. If I imagine that just means more money, but we'll see if that happens. But in any case, like, I really do feel like the 49ers now have a succession plan in the building that they can go to if Robert Saleh does indeed leave for a head coaching position after this season or the next. And, you know, who knows what happens after next year. Like, if Gus Bradley stays and for the 2026 season, I don't know. But, you know, like I said, if Saleh leaves after the one season, you have someone you can turn to immediately. And I think that's a huge plus. It's a huge plus. I know a lot of people had mentioned, you know, KJ Wright, he could be someone who eventually becomes a defensive coordinator. But currently, he's only the defensive quality control coach. And, you know, he's low on the totem pole. I do think promotion is in his near future, I'd have to imagine. Again, seeing him work at the Senior Bowl and coaching the defensive or the edge guys there, he certainly seemed to have a natural knack for coaching, and it just looked like the players took to him really well. And so KJ Wright, still very much someone I would like to see as defensive coordinator eventually, but I just don't know if it's realistic to expect that he would be ready for such a role, you know, after 1 to 2 seasons or even 3, right? So I think the 49ers get what they need out of this, which is a strong defense this season and a succession plan, hopefully next season, if it comes to that. And you're not settling for someone who does not have experience. The fact that Gus Bradley already has existing DC experience, he knows the scheme. It's exactly what the 49ers look for. So they have set themselves up in such a way where they're not going to be scrambling next year if Saleh does leave. So here's the other part that I love about this hiring, right? Between Robert Saleh and Gus Bradley, I think the 49ers have opened themselves up to a wider pool of potential free agents that they can bring in. I mean, even with Saleh alone, there were some intriguing names that from the Jets side that are going to be free agents. Cornerback DJ Reed, if he's interested in coming back to the 49ers, like, that's certainly an option. They got a safety over there. Safety, Ashton Davis. Safety is a need for the 49ers. That could make sense. Linebacker Jamian Sherwood, if Greenlaw does not come back, you know, Sherwood certainly could be an option. But now, like, you can kind of, you know, dip your toes in the Colts water a little bit. And they got a couple of free agents on the defensive side that, you know, could look to follow Gus Bradley. And again, like, Gus, we don't know how big of a role Gus Bradley is going to have, but even just him being on the staff and, you know, it's going to be a similar scheme. I'm aware of the fact that, you know, the Colts fired Gus Bradley, but I do still think there's probably players who enjoyed their time being coached by him and wouldn't mind, you know, joining the 49ers because of that, right? So I'm looking at, you know, safety Julian Blackmon. That's a huge one. Again, safety, position of need for the 49ers. So definitely something they can look to. They got a linebacker, EJ Speed. And I know this is on the offensive side of the ball, but they got a center, Ryan Kelly. He's 32. You know, he's still got some left in the tank. Ryan Kelly could maybe be an option as well. The 49ers probably will be looking for a veteran center this offseason, if I had to guess. So I just love the possibility of, you know, guys who have worked with Robert Saleh and Gus Bradley in the past. You know, Connections are big. You see how connections work in the coaching side of things. I think connections even between coaches and players are, big in the NFL. And sometimes you just want to go to where you're comfortable and go to a place that or go to a environment and a scheme and a coaching environment that. So that would be the 49ers for former, Jets players, for some former Colts players, right? So I do expect, like I said, the 49ers are going to, be focused on retooling this defense. I think, I wouldn't even be surprised if it's like at least 70% of their offseason via draft and free agency is focused on shoring up the defense. Like that's how much of a focus I think they're going to put on it. And hey, like, who knows? Maybe is Eric Armstead a trade candidate, like, for the Colts? I don't know, but if he is, like, wouldn't mind him back in San Francisco for, the remainder of his career, right? I think he's still obviously a really good player, and the 49ers have certainly missed him, right? I think they hoped that it would work out without him, and they could bring in some free agents, multiple free agents that can, equal the impact of this one player, Eric Armstead. But, I don't think it really worked out the way the 49ers intended. So who knows? Maybe Eric Armstead could come back via trade. I do think, the 49ers are going to be aggressive, not just in the draft, not just in free agency. I do think they're going to look to add someone via a trade this offseason. I think the top would be Myles Garrett, right? DeForest Buckner. Yeah, that's the guy I'm thinking of. Sorry, DeForest Buckner from the Colts. Armstead's on the Jags. But yeah, I mean, and congrats to Armstead, by the way, because he just got the Man of the Year award, and that's huge for him. Was it Man of the Year? Which one did he get? He got one of the really big ones. Yeah, Armstead went to the Jags. Thank you guys. I do sometimes get those two confused. But yeah, like Forrest Buckner, that's the guy I'm talking about. He could be an option, trade candidate for the 49ers, given that Colts connection. So yeah, I definitely think there's options that will be out there for the 49ers. Walter Payton, Man of the Year award. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I do think they'll be aggressive. I think trades will be on the table. I think Myles Garrett will obviously be the top of the top. That's what they're going to go for first. But if that doesn't work out for any reason, I think they'll have other options of aggressive trades they can make. Buckner, maybe one of them. Just someone else to add to the defensive line. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I meant Buckner. It's been a long week. Throwback says, Steph, let's do what the Rams have done. I like what the Rams have done. You know me, like I've been complimenting their last two drafts quite a bit, and I did it before it became popular because I got a lot of people that weren't happy with me for complimenting the Rams. But you got to admit their defensive line and how they've retooled the defensive line. Like, dude, not having Aaron Donald and having him retire, like those are big shoes to fill. I'm not saying that any of these guys are going to be Donald, but to be able to bounce back their defensive line so quickly and their defense in general, a lot of young players that they have. Jared Verse, who just won defensive rookie of the year. Like, yeah, I would love for the 49ers to do what the Rams have done as far as, focusing on building the defense through the draft, right? And go for guys that are, playmakers. Don't overthink it. Don't get cute. Like, go after proven guys. I would love that. So hopefully they do that. I mean, Eagles, did that as well just a year ago, and look where they are. That's where the 49ers want to be next season, especially with the Super Bowl being in Santa Clara next season. Wouldn't that be good? Invader says, I still don't believe Debo is going anywhere. I don't either, but that's a topic for another day. The reason I don't think he's going anywhere is because I think he's one of Kyle Shanahan's favorites. I think Kyle Shanahan probably believes that Debo still has something to offer this team. And look, like he does. Don't get me wrong. There is something Debo adds to the team. It's just not worth what he's getting paid for currently. So that's the part that I don't like. You see, going back to the Rams, you see them being open to trading Cooper Kupp because that's a player who has reached his ceiling and knows a great ceiling. Like, they don't have attachments to certain players. Like Cooper Kupp, like that was their best player for a really long time. And yeah, now they have Puka Nacua, who, is obviously great. And the offense is probably at a point where it doesn't need Cooper Kupp to be that guy anymore. Same thing with the Niners and Debo. Like Debo, this offense has evolved to the point of not needing Debo Samuel. In fact, this past season, when they didn't have Brandon Ayuk and when they didn't have Christian McCaffrey, you still didn't need or use Debo. Like he didn't really do anything to change matters for the 49ers, even with both of those guys out, a wide receiver and a running back. Wasn't Debo the wide back? Like, what happened? I don't know. It's just there's little impact for Debo, I think, on this team. So I applaud the Rams for cutting ties before they're kind of forced to keep a player or they're forced to trade a player and get like nothing in return. I think they'll get at least a little something more in return for Kupp now than if they waited another season and he put together the same type of season of injuries and being second fiddle to Puka. So we'll see. What's going on, JC? Good to have you here in the chat. Yo, you guys are keeping the live chat popping again. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you like this video if you haven't yet. Yeah, Hines says McVay is more open to playing young guys. Kyle trusts wash vets like Campbell. That is one of my issues with Kyle. I don't have a lot of issues with Kyle, but that's definitely one that I will be critical of him about. Like, and it's obvious. Like he doesn't trust rookies at all. I think for him to play rookies, it's a huge. It just feels like a huge feat for him to do that. Like I think the rookies have to jump a lot of hoops in order for him to feel comfortable giving guys snaps. And I get it to an extent. It's a tough playbook. If guys don't know where they're supposed to be lined up, like it's a problem. Rookies made mistakes, this past season. But I do also feel as the coach, like you let them work through that. And I think, I'm not privy to everything that happens behind the scenes and in practice. But I would hope that Kyle Shanahan is working to make things easier for his rookies. I feel like there's this understanding that, everyone just knows the playbook is tough and you just got to deal with it. Like, that's it. No one's going to accommodate you if you don't get it, kind of thing, which to a certain extent I get, but like for rookies and guys who are like first year players, like that's tough. That's really tough. I think there has to be some build up. And, I think there is. I just feel like I would like to see more trust for those rookies. Throwback says we can't believe we let go of Womack. I'll say this. I think fits in the NFL is huge. And I think Womack didn't fit what the 49ers wanted out of a corner, ultimately. I remember hearing that or seeing that, they felt like he lacked the physicality needed to, I think, play nickel, right? Like, because that was his best spot, like nickel, or that based on his body type and all that, like him being the nickel guy, like that was his best chance. But they didn't like the physicality or lack of physicality that he played with. So it didn't work out. Sometimes that just happens. Like, you're not a good fit for a certain team. And, you seen him with the Colts and he flourished, right? It happens. Team fits are huge. So, all right. Some of these comments are funny. You guys talking about Debo. Debo was like on Radio Row, right? And I'm not going to talk about the jersey because that didn't actually bother me at all. But he did talk about, just how this season went for him. And let me see if I can find the clip because, like, I wasn't a huge fan of what he had to say. He still kind of alluded to not having the opportunities this season, which is wild to me. Because, like, he did. What did I just say? Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey were not there. You were on the field, buddy. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But here, I got the clip right here. I'll just I'll throw it up here. All right.
Biggest moment of personal adversity this year for you, if you had to fight through?
I went through a lot. Still want to be the player that I know I'm capable of being, but the opportunities was just not as big as I wanted them to be, and then we wasn't winning on top of that. So, I'm like one of the biggest losers ever. Like, I hate losing. Like,
you're a bad loser?
Yeah, I'm a bad loser, especially when, you're so used to winning a lot. Being in a position to be fighting for a championship every year, and it's just like this past season, it's just like, all right, next game, this is going to be the game that we take over and then just put a streak together, and then, like, we'll win one and lose two.
Did you think in those weeks where you, like, we're coming out, we're winning this game?
Yes, 100%. Yes.
Now, what are you left when you're in the locker room after? You're like, after that happened?
It sounds like a penny drop in there. Like, it's just complete silence because everybody feel the same way. Because we in the locker room, like, before the game all week long, our energy is never going to change.
But is the confidence real? Because there's
100%.
The confidence was like the boombox. That was all. That wasn't getting up off the mat.
It's not
you
fake.
thought I'm winning this game.
Nothing we do is fraud. Nothing we do is fake. We don't put on the show for nobody. This is just what we do.
Yeah.
And, like, being on this team, like, our confidence got to be through the roof with, what we've been through and how we approach the game and all the situations we've been through and played for 2 of these trophies. So it's not fake. It's actually like they really to get out there for sure.
Yeah, so again, just talking about not having opportunities, like, bro, you did. And the game where it was the most obvious, where, like, they force fed you, like, that was one of the most disappointing games of Debo's career. I'm not gonna comment on how Debo looks. I'll stay out of that one, but yeah, you guys are you guys are saying enough in the comments here. I'll let you guys cook. But yeah, George Kittle also on Radio Row. By the way, Kay Adams killing it out there at the Senior Bowl, at the Super Bowl Radio Row, as is Mina Kimes. Shout out to them, women in sports. And so let me post up the clip of Kittle, because look, he didn't, a lot of people, including myself, said that Kittle confirmed that he's had talks with the Niners, contract talks, that is. Why isn't this not showing up? But he was kind of wishy-washy about the answers. So let me post it up here.
year of your contract.
I am.
I know you want to retire as a Niner, yes?
I'd love to.
What's happening? Pizza.
Pizza's happening, Kay. Waiting on them.
There's no talking yet?
No, I think there's been talking. I think,
What
we're
are
mildly
we
on
waiting
the same
for?
page.
What are we waiting for?
I have no idea. I just work here. My agent does that stuff.
Year of your contract.
All right, so he said, yeah, he thinks conversations are going on, and his agent takes care of all that. So, I mean, obviously, we would all be very happy if George Kittle is extended and finishes his career as a Niner. I mean, we all want to see that, right? So, hopefully, it is true that Kittle is in those contract talks. It would make a hell of a lot of sense. I think also, like, if Warner does a restructure, which has also been rumored for this offseason as well, if Brock Purdy gets his extension, which, I think will free up, well, it won't free up cap space because he'll still be getting more than he is now. It's kind of easy to pay him more than what he is now, but they're going to have low cap hits for the next couple of years, which, in turn will not hurt the 49ers. It will actually make things a little interesting and give them some wiggle room to acquire some free agents, maybe make a trade like we're saying. So I think they could fit in a lot of what I think their plans are for the defense with some of those extensions and potential restructures. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. This is an exciting offseason so far. Like, the vibes are incredible. And I know it's Super Bowl weekend, and, it's obviously, it sucks that the 49ers aren't there, but I'm just so excited for 2025. Like, already it feels like a 180 difference as far as things to look forward to. We went from Nick Sorensen and Brandon Staley to Robert Saleh and Gus Bradley, and I still have faith that the 49ers are going to take care of these contract things earlier in the offseason than they did last year. They have the time to do it. I think that'll take a lot of weight off our shoulders, off their shoulders as well. So hopefully we see that. I'm so excited. I'm pumped to see what happens next with the defense. I mean, we've got the combine happening at the end of this month. Then we've got free agency, which I'm excited for free agency. And as we know, like, Myles Garrett, might get traded. So I'm just excited for everything that is happening around the 49ers right now. And yeah, I see you guys talking about, some tight ends here. Matt Mayoko, as well as Matt Barrows, has mentioned Tyler Warren as a possibility at pick 11. I am still sticking to my guns that if I had to make a bet today, I still think the 49ers go defensive line with pick 11. Tyler Warren would be a luxury pick, but, he could also be best player available, right? So I wouldn't be mad at it either. And to kind of echo what Barrows said, he said this in the podcast with Tim K, 49ers Plus Minus. He said that, if the 49ers extend Kittle, they can draft Tyler Warren and basically have Warren, a rookie, do the dirty work and have Kittle kind of just do the receiver type of thing and I guess keep him out of harm's way a little bit more, and have a rookie, spell him a little bit. His thinking is that it would keep Kittle fresh longer. Kittle's always dealing with injuries. Like in the Kay Adams interview, he also said he had some cracked ribs. He fractured his ribs this season, and he was still out there balling. Like, that's insane. So in order to kind of preserve Kittle and to make sure that, if they extend him, he he plays the entirety of his contract, whether that's 4 or 5 years, I don't know. I think they have to alleviate some of his duties, and that would require, bringing in another tight end. And I think, someone like Tyler Warren certainly could do that. But you guys mentioned a couple of other names as well. Loveland. I like Jackson Haas as a blocking option. He would be like a Charlie Warner type. Arroyo, Arroyo was a beast at the Senior Bowl. His body, his frame is crazy, and he moves so well. So we'll see. I do think the 49ers do get a tight end. I'm just not so convinced that it's at 11. But if both the Matts, if Mayoko and Barrows continue to push that narrative, I might have to start listening. But as of right now, you guys can book it. I'm going defensive line, pick 11 in the first round. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. But yeah, I'm super excited for this offseason, for, next season. And let's enjoy that. Law of Voss says, where's Arroyo projected to go? He would be a good choice. It really depends where you have him ranked, right? And I think certain teams, I've seen like draft content creators have him as their T3, but I don't know where teams have him. Maybe the second round, third round for Arroyo. I'm not sure. I really don't know. We'll get more clarity around where certain guys are likely to go, I think, maybe like in the next month or so. Yeah. Yeah, I did. As far as mock drafts go, I posted my first one last week, which is actually, pretty early for me. And I usually only post one because people are mean about mock drafts. Like, guys, remember, it's just for fun. But yeah, I'll post more. Definitely want to get Walter Nolan at pick 11 and see where the chips fall after that. Definitely want to do some trade ups. Definitely want to do a live mock draft with some of you guys helping me make some picks. I think that would be a lot of fun. But we got some time to get this going. Hines says, great Haas interview. Yes, I interviewed Jackson Haas at the Senior Bowl. He was a great interview. I talked to him for like 5 minutes. And yeah, he just seems like a cool dude. It was nice to talk ball with him. And yeah, I have not been great at posting on Blue Sky, so I do have to get better at that. Just did kind of lose my interest a little bit, but I know some of you fully transitioned to Blue Sky instead of X, so I will start posting there as well. But yeah, I appreciate all of you. If you guys haven't followed me on Blue Sky yet, Steph49K is the username. But okay, I had to respond to this comment. Usually get into mock drafts after getting Steph's list of players the 49ers meet with. Well, that list is up and running. That is the 49ers draft sheet that I work on every year. As of right now, there are about 40 players on there. After the major pre-draft all-star games, the Hula Bowl, Tropical Bowl, Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, all the bowls. So we got a healthy list of names on there. So make sure you guys check that out. That is linked on my Twitter account. It's pinned at the top. So make sure you guys check that out if you haven't yet. But all right, it's Friday. We're going to get our weekend started. It's been a crazy, crazy week. Like, I don't know if everyone else's week was super long and busy, but mine was. So I'm excited to get my weekend started. I hope all of you enjoy your Friday, enjoy your weekend. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Audio listeners, make sure to leave a rating, leave a review. It really helps me out. For now, folks, have a good rest of your Friday. Great weekend. Peace.